Hello, everyone. I am back. I'm Abigail Horn. I am part of Lisa Johnson's team. Thank you for joining me on this little interview series that I'm doing over the next few days to introduce you to some of the amazing people that have worked with Lisa that want to share with you their experience, because we think that's really, really important, that we aren't just telling you sort of all the amazing things that can go on for you with Inside Velocity, but so you hear from people as well that have worked with Lisa in similar containers to these, so you can hear for yourself what they have found instead of always just being the ones to tell you. So my next guest is a very lovely friend of mine, actually. So it's so lovely to bring her on. Let me bring her in. Here is Amanda. Hello. So, I will let her introduce herself properly so she can, I always say this just in case anyone's got a fancy title that they want bringing into the mix, but I will just say Amanda is Lisa's brand photographer. She is my brand photographer. Yay, we did a shoot.
I know you were just on my screen actually before.
Was that?
In your gallery before I came on, because I was just finishing up some bits.
But it's a pleasure to have you on. Amanda, though, do you want to say in a more, extravagant way than that, what it is that you do, who you work with, just so everyone gets a feel for you?
Yeah, so I run AKP Branding Stories, which celebrated its 11th birthday on Friday, and I am a brand photographer. There is no fancy title. I get to take photos of amazing business owners, put them in front of my camera, make them feel comfortable, show the world how freaking awesome they are. I love it.
11 years.
Yeah.
So I know what you did before, and I know what you do now. And I know the role that sort of Lisa has been in supporting that journey. But do you want to tell people what that's looked like? So what was life like before this 11 years in brand photography?
So my background is in crisis management and risk consulting. So I used to work within local authority, and then I went into the corporate sector. And for the first 5 years of my business, I juggled the two. So I ran the business. I was still doing weddings at that time as well. And I had a full-time corporate job. And I met Lisa through the wedding world. So when she was a planner and I was a photographer, before she became the business oracle that we all, she'll hate that word, but you know what I mean? Like the business expert that everybody knows.
Yeah.
But she had a knack for just being able to give business advice even then. And it probably fell on a lot of deaf ears in the wedding industry. But I think she was always going to do this sort of thing, if I'm honest. So I got to know her and Sam, and Hutch was in the wedding industry with me kind of before all this. So when it came to looking for someone to support me in growing my business, it was sort of a no-brainer because I knew her and I trusted her. And I started my business when people weren't even really using Instagram for business.
Wow.
I feel really old when I realized that. The other day. I was like, God, because my Instagram page is not as old as my business because it wasn't a thing.
That's mad. You're still in this corporate career, and then you have gone into an environment. So we know that Velocity is new, but we know that it's taking all the really good things that Lisa has done and added even more good stuff in there. So you were in a similar container to this. And what was the result of going through that process and that work that you did with Lisa?
So I was in Level Up. And it's sort of, I guess, there was a hybrid of things going on at the same time, because I've been in the strategy club that it's known now, and I've been on strategy days with Lisa and things like that. And so from being in Lisa's world more generally, I was able to quit the corporate job in a really sustainable way. I did it 6 months before the pandemic hit. So I went from consulting on pandemics and crisis to then leaving, and then 6 months later, and my business was able to survive that. And that's from drawing on my own resilience knowledge, but a lot of the foundations that Lisa had kind of taught, and the ability to adapt, and the buzzword at the time was pivot, wasn't it? And do all of that.
Do you remember? Oh my goodness, pivot. Everything was a pivot.
Yeah. And then I can't even remember what year Level Up was, but it gave me a lot more confidence to really look at what I wanted in the business. And, you know, I'm an IVF mum, and so I wanted to build this business that meant that I could spend more time with Jack. I know that lots of parents want to spend more time with their kids and be there, but for us even more so, because we'd spent 7 years trying for him. And so having that support and the knowledge within the container, and also the network within that, and there was some tailored, there was tailored solutions around that as well. So it wasn't a kind of like, it was never a cookie cutter approach, which I think is something that like Lisa's always done, really. She's never really been like, well, here's one magic pill and it'll solve all of your problems. Like, and that's kind of what drew me into it, was that, we did this disc assessment, and then it gave us the kind of, this is the directions that your business should go in based on actually who you fundamentally are. And it has just meant, like, largely I am working Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because that is when Jack is at nursery, and I might take the odd call on a Monday or a Friday, but I'm not working every hour God sends that I was previously. And it's given me permission, I guess, to build that business how I want it to look, rather than feeling like, well, I have to do all of these things, because that's what you do to be successful and grow a business.
I love that. And it's such an important message, because everybody can see that Lisa is talking about simplifying everything, that she wants people to have the life that they want as well as the business that they want. And we know that sometimes those two things aren't congruent. We know that people can grow businesses that become a little bit beyond them.
Yeah.
And so although it's absolutely amazing that you were able to replace your corporate sort of wage to become self-employed and to support your family, I'm sort of not leaning into that conversation with you, because I know for you it's much more about the lifestyle that you can now live, and that, that being that mum at home. And I know for a fact, because I know I book in with you as a client, that your diary is only available like for a smaller window in the week, because you are being mum. And I absolutely love that. And that is exactly what Lisa wants to do with people in Velocity. She wants to take people through a process that simplifies the business, but that gives them the life and business that they want on the other side of it. So I know you've been in many things with Lisa, so it probably goes without saying that you would recommend like anybody go and work with. But is there anything specific that you would say to people that are maybe just watching thinking, I don't know, is this for me? Like, what would you say?
I think if you are looking for someone who will tell you how it is, they're not going to sugarcoat things, and they're going to tell you from actual experience through running their own business, through like Lisa is like, she devours so much knowledge and things that are going on before she puts something out there. Like, it's almost like if she doesn't know it, it's not worth knowing. Like, I know the level of,
we're not saying she goes down rabbit holes or anything, but
well, I mean, I remember how much she put into OTM, like and so I just think if you're looking for a no BS approach, really, really pragmatic, practical advice. This is not going to be a course or a container where you're thinking, well, I still don't know what to do. Then Lisa's definitely someone to invest with. And what I love about the way that she evolves her courses and her programs is that when she knows that something's missing, she'll put it in. So the fact that there's now this like one-to-one accountability coach side of things, it's because she knows that there are some people, and I'll put my hand up as one of these people, because I did OTM, it took me a long time to actually do the work. I'm not a model student. I'm not someone that's going to come on here and say, I was an overnight success because I did everything that she said, because I did fight things, and sure enough, she was bloody right. Should have just done the work earlier. But she knows that people have got stuff going on in their lives and need that loving backside kicking, so she's brought it in. Like,
Yeah,
you know, she knows that some people,
they've got one-to-one coach, they've got
yeah,
mindset coach,
mindset as well, and you know, Brené's freaking amazing.
And yesterday, I don't know if you saw it, the most insane bonus dropped, and she's actually going to be doing a one-to-one with everybody as well to really sort of get to know every single business that's in there, and it's going to be kept unlike OTM, which obviously is a much sort of bigger, more energetic environment for people. It's very bespoke. It's very sort of intimate. It's just everything. It's just everything from all of the best bits of everything she's ever done, I think. So
it is a really exciting program. I think it's going to be awesome for whoever kind of takes it on and signs up. But you know, you've got to really think, like, do you actually want to simplify your business? Because don't go into it, because if you don't, then like you've got to go in with the right frame of mind. Like, be open, because especially if you're having that one-to-one with Lisa, she's got a knack of just like looking at you and going, okay, this is what you need to do, and just take it on board. Like, I have gone, oh, I don't know, and she has always been right, and it's just a little bit sickening that she's always been right. She has.
Don't tell her that she's always right.
Well, she might not be watching this, but it's true. Like, if you don't like go into it knowing that you're going to have to do the work, but that the work that you're being, you know, encouraged to do comes from the absolute best possible place, and the knowledge and the experience behind it. Like, don't fight the process. And I know that's something that gets said in like OTM a lot. Like, don't fight the process, otherwise you are just wasting your time. Like, I know that she's going to want the absolute right people in there, so really think about what your motivations are.
Oh, thank you so much just for coming on and for everything that you've said, and just for talking so openly about why you've done this as well, because I think just knowing you, like, and seeing you living your life now, seeing you being mum, seeing you doing the job that you love doing every single day. Well, the days that you're working, because you're getting a couple of days a week off, but seeing you living your best life now is like just everything. So thank you very much for coming and joining me in this interview. And for everybody else, I will see you again later. I'm so sorry if you're sick of my face and my Stoke accent. But I love doing these interviews, so I do keep putting my hand up for them. I will see you at 7:00 tonight, I believe is the next one. Right. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us.